In the name of Almighty Allah, who is most merciful and most beneficent. So we start the chapters of fourth chapter of PPC, and these chapters is very important in law gate as well as other exams, just like the post of judges. So 76 sections, general exceptions, act done by person bound by mistake of fact, believing himself bound by law. We should remember is that nothing is an offenses which is done by a person who is or by reasons of a mistake of fact and not by reasons of mistake of a law. Is good faith, believe himself to be bound by law to do it. If you have unintentional, just like an example of illustrations, soldiers fires on a mob by the order of his superior officer in conformity with the commands of the law. A has committed no offenses because it has order of superior authority. Just like I give you example of judge, he is order or his command to lower staff, and lower staff may pass a commit offenses. This is no offenses. That is why general exception is that if any person in society or any person commit a crime, but he don't mention crime. That's why second example of a general exception, section 76, an officer of court of justice being ordered by that court to arrest Y, and after due inquiry believing Z to be Y, arrest, and A has committed no offenses. And 77 act of judge when acting judicially. This is not a offenses. Nothing is any offenses which is done by a judge when acting judicially in the exercise of any power which in good faith he believes to be given to him by law. यानी कि ही PPC जा कुछ असांजा चैप्टर्स आहिनि जेके लॉ गेट में तमामु घणो अहमियत रखंदा आहिनि, ऐं हिन में जेके असां ॾोहो पढ़ंदासीं पोइ जेके सोसाइटीअ में आम तरह सां असां पंहिंजे ॾिसंदा आहियूं, पर माण्हू जो इंटेंशन न हुजे त को मां हिन खे जेको आहे इहो कंहिं क़िस्म जो नुक़सानु पहुचायां, या जेकॾहिं इंटेंशनली आहे त पोइ त ज़ाहिरी ॻाल्हि आहे हू बाउंड आहे, हुनखे सज़ा मिलंदी। पर अनइंटेंशनल जेका शइ थिए थी, का शइ हू कमिट करे थो त हुन में हुनखे कंहिं क़िस्म जो पनिशमेंट जेको आहे न मिलंदी। डेट इज़ वाए पहिरियों एग्ज़ाम्पल पढ़ियोसीं त हिकु सुपीरियर अथॉरिटी आहे, उहा लोअर स्टाफ खे ऑर्डर कंदी, ज़ाहिरी ॻाल्हि आहे हू फायर कंदो, इहो बि ॾोह न आहे। उनखां पोइ असांजो जजिस पढ़ियोसीं, जज जेकॾहिं ऑर्डर कंदो उहो बि ॾोह न आहे। ऐं सेक्शन नंबर 78 में एक्ट डन परसुअंट टू द जजमेंट आर ऑर्डर ऑफ द कोर्ट, जेकॾहिं कंहिं क़िस्म जो जज ऑर्डर करे थो त उहो बि कंहिं क़िस्म जो ॾोह न आहे। चए थो नथिंग विच इज़ डन इन परसुएंस ऑफ आर which is warranted by the judgment or order of the court of justice. If done violates such a judgment or order remains in force as an offences, notwithstanding the court may have had no jurisdiction to pass such a judgment or order, provided the person doing the act in good faith believes that the court had such a jurisdiction. माना कंहिं क़िस्म जो जेकॾहिं असांजो ही असांजा MCQs आहिनि, मां कोशिशि कंदो आहियां त कुझु जेके MCQs आहिनि उहे अंडरलाइन थियल आहिनि, उहे तव्हां मस्ट यादि रखो। त जेके सेक्शन असांजो जेको 79 आहे, एक्ट डन बाय अ पर्सन, सेक्शन नंबर 79 जेको आहे असांजो, एक्ट डन बाय पर्सन जस्टिफाइड आर बाय अ मिस्टेक ऑफ फैक्ट बिलीविंग हिमसेल्फ जस्टिफाइड बाय लॉ. Nothing is an offence which is done by any person who is justified by law, or who by reasons of mistake of fact and not by reasons of mistake of law in good faith, believes himself to be justified by law in doing it. Illustrations, misal तौर हिन में ॿुधायो वियो आहे A sees Z commit what appears to A to be a murder. A, in the exercise to the best of his judgment, exerted in good faith of the power which the law gives to all persons of apprehended murders in the fact, sees Z in order to bring Z before the proper authorities. A has committed no offences, though it may be turned out that Z was acting in a self-defense. Accident in doing lawful act. Nothing is an offence which is done by accident or misfortune and without any criminal intention or knowledge in the doing of lawful act in a lawful manner by lawful means and with the proper care and caution. ये MCQ जेको आहे हिन जी वज़ाहत में अची चुको आहे गेट में एक्सक्यूज़ेबल जेको आहे असांजो इहो तव्हां अंडरलाइन करे छॾियो आहे. मिसाल तौरु चए थो A is at work with a hatchet. The head flies off and kills a woman and who is standing by. Here, if there was no want of proper caution on the part of A, his act is executable and एक्यासी जेको असांजो सेक्शन आहे act likely to cause a harm but done without criminal intent and to prevent other harm. हाणे इहा सेम स्टेटमेंट जेकी आहे पहिरियों लॉ गेट में अची वई आहे त इन में तव्हां जेको आहे गुड फेथ खे अंडरलाइन कजो. इहो MCQ अची वियो आहे. ॿी सॼी स्टेटमेंट सेम आहे. यानी नथिंग इज़ एन ऑफेंसिस merely by reasons of it is being done with the knowledge that it is likely to cause a harm. If it be done without any criminal intention to cause a harm and in good faith for the purpose of preventing or avoiding other harm to person or property. मिसाल तौर जेकॾहिं असां एक्सप्लेनेशन में हिन में ॾियूं त इट इज़ अ क्वेश्चन्स ऑफ फैक्ट इन सच अ केस whether the harm to be prevented or avoided was of such a nature and so imminent as to justify or excuse the risk of doing the act with the knowledge that it was likely to cause a harm. हिन जी तशरीह में इहो ॿुधायो वियो आहे त मिसाल तौर चए थो लेट सपोज A, the captain of steam vessel, suddenly and without any fault or negligence on his part, finds himself in such a position that before he can stop his vessel and he must inevitably run down. ऐं चए थो a boat be with 20 or 30 passengers on board unless he changes the course of his vessel and that by changing his course he must incur risk of running down a boat sea with only 2 passengers on board which he may be possible clear. Here if he alters his course without an intention to run down the boat sea and in good faith for the purpose of avoiding the danger to the passengers in the boat B, he is not guilty of any offences, though he may run down the boat sea by doing an act which he knew was likely to cause that effect. If it be found as a matter of fact that the danger which he intended to avoid was such as to excuse him in incurring the risk of running down sea. मिसाल तौर जेकॾहिं असां एग्जाम्पल में बी आहे A in a great fire pulls down house in order to prevent the conflagration from spreading. He does this with the intention in good faith for saving human life or property. Here if it be found that the harm to be prevented was of such a nature and so imminent as to excuse A's act, A is not guilty of the offences. ऐं हुन खां पोइ जेको सेक्शन असांजो हिन में ॿुधायो वियो आहे सेक्शन नंबर 82 एक्ट ऑफ चाइल्ड अंडर 10 years of age. Nothing is an offences which is done by child under 10 years of age. हुन खां पोइ जेको असांजो जेको सेक्शन 83 आहे एक्ट ऑफ चाइल्ड अबू द 10 and under the 14 of immature understanding. Nothing is an offence which is done by a child above 10 years of age under the 14 who has not attained the sufficient maturity of understanding to judge of the nature and consequence of his conduct on that accusation. उन खां पोइ जेको असांजो एक्ट ऑफ पर्सन ऑफ अनसाउंड माइंड. Nothing is an offence which is done by a person who at the time of doing it by reason of unsoundness of mind is incapable of knowing the nature of the act, that he is doing what is either wrong or contrary to law. उन खां पोइ जेको असां ॾिसंदासीं त act of person incapable of judgment by reasons of intoxication caused against his will. Nothing is an offense which is done by a person who at the time of doing it is be reasons of intoxication, incapable of knowing the nature of the act, that he is doing that what is either wrong or contrary to the law, provided that the thing which is intoxicated him was administered to him without his knowledge or against his will.